Hello, my name is Charles Lafond. I'm the Senior Director of Development and Donor Communications at Island Senior Resources, a small nonprofit in Island County that cares for the aging seniors, adults with disabilities, and caregivers on Whidbey Island and Camano Island off the coast of Washington State in the Salish Sea. I've been a fundraiser for 41 uninterrupted years and written 3 books about the topic. And I'm here to tell you a little bit more about what we're doing exactly right now and over the next 5 years at Island Senior Resources in financial development. Many ask how we do fundraising at Island Senior Resources. And so this is the why and the how of what we do. I work with my colleague Don Hall, and the two of us work with the principle of essentialism that guides our internal principle. And that is that we do what's essential on the A list, we do as much on the B list as possible, and whatever's on the C list, we tie to a rock and throw in the ocean. You just have to do the most important things. You can't do everything. And the second guiding principle is an external principle, and that is donor centricity. In other words, the donor is central to the work we do. If we do the work we need to do with the donor and they feel that they're well catered to and served, then the money will be raised for the agency. But our primary focus is on the donor experience, not the money we need to raise. So we plan our work daily, weekly, and monthly, focusing on what's essential and dismissing what is not. We work from a 56-page tactical plan and a 2-page strategic plan, and we update that plan every single month and every quarter and every year. Secondly, we seek major and planned gifts based on capacity and interest research. In other words, who has capacity to give a major gift and who has interest. If you have high capacity and low interest, that's a wealthy person who's not going to give a gift. If you have high interest and low capacity, that's a really passionate person who doesn't have the money to give a gift. So we're looking for capacity high and interest high. And lastly, simultaneous management of the annual giving campaign, the events, the major and planned gifts, and the donor communications. And that can sometimes feel like a juggling act, but that's just what we have to do. Let's go back and look at what happened between 2019 and 2024 in annual giving, planned gifts, events, and capital giving in Island Senior Resources fundraising program. In 2019, we began a formal annual giving program and a formal development program. And we were just months into it when everything switched over to the COVID reality. But between 2019 and 2024, after 50 years, we founded this event, this fundraising effort, and it went from $87,000 in 2019 to $600,000 in 2024, plus $1 million special gift and about $5 million representative in planned giving. That's a massive increase, 589.6% increase over 5 years. Secondly, strategic engagement, the cultivation process of major donors. We've been working really hard with about 200 people to engage them in a more deeply compassionate and interested way so that they get to know us and we get to know them. And thirdly, the planned giving has gone from 4 families in 2019 to 37 families in 2024. That's about $5 million in future funding, and that's really where the rubber meets the road. And then lastly, donor communications. We have provided donors and prospects with story and impact data to inspire giving from the silent generation, which is people 79 to 87 years old, and the impact generations, which is 29 years old to 78 years old. We've just moved into the impact generations, and they want to know the impact and they want to know the story. And so the ability of a nonprofit to express its impact to its donors and its prospects is the only way to move forward. So what's happening in 2025 at Island Senior Resources in financial development? Well, the first thing is that we're going to increase annual giving. We do every year. And the goal is to reduce the amount of money we spend to raise the money and increase the money that we raise, resulting in a possible plateau. And that's difficult because unless our mailing list grows, then we won't be able to grow the donors, because we need a donor pyramid so that there are lots of people at the bottom end moving up the pyramid, and the major gifts are at the top end. So we're going to be working very hard in 2025 in marketing and branding to increase the number of people who are giving $5 and $10 and $20. That will involve increasing the mailing list, and that will involve asking people to sign up on our mailing list, and that'll be a big job. The second thing is engaging management and research. We're going to have to manage and research major gifts in a way that we have never done before. That is to say that we're going to really work with 200 donors, and we're going to spend a lot of time with them, helping them to get to know what our programs are, helping them to get to see our story, get to see our impact, such that they give major gifts. And when I got here 5 years ago, a major gift was $1,000. Now a major gift at Island Senior Resources is $5,000. And I hope that in 5 more years, a major gift is considered a $10,000 gift or more. We have one $100,000 gift. We have one $50,000 gift. We have a few $25,000 gifts, a dozen or so $10,000 gifts, and so on down the pyramid. And we will be focusing very hard on engaging those donors in major giving, and not just asking them for money, but involving them in the planning that we're doing for the future of Island Senior Resources in Island County on both Whidbey Island and Camano. And the two last things we'll be doing in 2025 that are new to Island Senior Resources are golf tournaments with associated galas that will be raising money at 2 golf clubs in South Island and North Island of Whidbey Island. And lastly, some films like this one. We will be creating and publishing films that tell people about what we do and how we do it. What is the long-term view for financial development at Island Senior Resources? In other words, what are we going to be doing between 2025 and 2030? That 5-year strategic and tactical plan has been written up. It's quite a long plan, 56 pages long for the tactics and 2 pages long for the strategy. And what we're going to be doing is using communications, film, and marketing to increase the number of households registering on our mailing list and engaging in our social media. Secondly, we're going to escalate the Major Gifts program to involve more people with deeper engagement for larger gifts. And that's going to be for present funding in Major Gifts and future funding in planned giving. And lastly, we're going to freeze development expenses, increasing marketing and branding expenses while increasing income. Because what we really need to do is get the word out about Island Senior Resources so that we are less of a secret on these islands. In order to accomplish the things we need to do in 2025 and on until 2030, there are going to be some things that we have to change and do differently and do well in 2025. And these are those things. Number one, we're going to have to turn what is now a sort of secret about Island Senior Resources into something everybody knows about and everybody understands. We've got to grow our engaged audience from about 2,000 households to 10,000 households, and we're going to have to ask people to sign up with our mailing list. The second thing is we're going to ask the people who drop things off at the Senior Thrift to give us their names, addresses, and phone numbers if they're willing, because those are people who could volunteer, and those are people who could give gifts to the agency. The third thing is we're going to be training our boards and key volunteers in asking for major gifts. I know it's terrifying for many people, but we simply have to increase the number of requests for major gifts, and we can no longer just let it be staff that does this work. We're going to have to invite volunteers to ask for gifts. And the last thing is that what gets measured tends to get done. And so we're going to be asking our leaders at Island Senior Resources, board and staff, to increase their capacity to help. What are their talents? What are their abilities? What are the ways they can help as volunteers? If you're watching this film, you're watching it because we hope you will engage more deeply in the work we have to do in the next 5 years to increase the capacity and ability of Island Senior Resources to serve the people of Island County. And so you might be wondering, well, what could I do to help? And I've got a little bit of a list right here. The first thing is you can make your gift and you can ask for 3 gifts face to face. Gifts that are asked for by email, they're not going to come. Gifts that are asked for by a letter may come through, but really face-to-face is the only way to ask a gift. One friend sitting with another friend who asks him point blank, will you give this gift to Island Senior Resources? The second thing is to sit with me and with Dawn and with other leaders and just discuss people who have capacity and interest in the county who could give their voice or their money or their influence to Island Senior Resources. We just need to build those lists. The next thing you could do is attend or host a Blue Bowl conversation gathering in your home or in someone else's home. That's just so easy. It's just gathering 12 people around a circle, give them a bowl with some soup and bread, and just talk together about what it means to age and to be a nonprofit that cares for those who are aging. Another thing you could do is to gather a team for golfing tournaments that we're doing these days. And if you golf or know someone who golfs, please come forward and help us. And lastly, speak about aging, disability, and caregiving at a community gathering, a friend-raising instead of a fundraising. The only way we're going to make progress is if one person asks another person to help aging seniors, adults with disabilities, and caregivers so that we get the care that needs to be done accomplished.